In the General Motors annual report, things are looking rather well for the company as of 2013. Many positives can be taken from the report, including increases in just about every aspect from revenue to stocks. Even employment was booming according to the report. General Motors sold just fewer than 500,000 more vehicles in 2013 than 2012, resulting in an increase in net sales and revenue of just over $3 billion. This in turn created the stock prices to jump up from $87 to $124 per share. Still recovering from the recession, like the other stock markets, however, General Motors appeared to have taken a larger hit during this time, dropping to $61 per share. Debt increased by $2,000, while pensions increased by nearly $7,000. This created a reduction in total obligations, and liquidity is on the rise. Employment has been on the rise within the company, the most being GM&A, the great 8,000 increased employment, while in some of the others decreased. The overall employment rose to 219,000 from 213,000 in just 1 year. Changes in the liquidations of marketable securities have due to the variety maturities of investments. This also includes rebalancing of the investment portfolio. In 2011, a negative 10.6 in acquisitions, up to 6.9 in 2012, but back down to 0.1. However, this is a step in the right direction of stability. There is also a note in the report of removing Chevrolet brand from the European market. This will affect 12,000 Chevrolet dealers and distributors. Estimated costs will be around $636 million. This, along with other reduction in productions and Holden, will create many job losses. These are all taken into account for in the restructuring costs layout. Restructuring costs have since gone down for the company. In 2011, estimated costs were $1,800 million, while in 2013 it dropped to $1,349 million. Although the company has had many difficulties, including the recession and the bailout in the 2013 report, things are looking up for the company. Revenue and sales are increasing, along with plans to continue to restructure their growth and increase revenue even more. This, coupled with increased employment over the years, makes for a profitable year. General Motors in the news. Many struggling times for the General Motors have led to several interesting leads in the newspapers, recently consisting of recalls and lack thereof. Before the recession, there was a positive outlook on the company and its expanding market. After was scrutiny and bad reputations. Past news articles consist of that the new EV1 electronic car and its glory. General Motors eventually abandoned the full electronic vehicle for the now hybrid plug-in Volt. Also in 2012, General Motors realized that their ads placed on Facebook were not generating the expected impact on consumers. It is difficult to measure the actual effectiveness of advertisements on Facebook. However, this thought to be a big blow for the financials of Facebook. While some believed that by pulling out, they would only be hurting themselves by a pure vast majority of people on Facebook. In 2010, during the financial crisis, General Motors received bailout money to keep them afloat. News started flying whether or not these bailouts were in the right stance and used in the appropriate manner. General Motors was not immune to this. There was $42.4 billion in bailout to the company and let the employees keep their jobs, and taxpayers are wondering if they will ever see their money. Again, in 2012, General Motors was under scrutiny for where they spent their money and the new auto bailout to be signed by Obama. Come to find out, the jobs they were saving were actually going overseas. President news generally consists of recalls. The biggest was General Motors recalling more vehicles than they were sold in the last 5 years. These recalls ranged from what was required by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, NHTSA, due to the investigations, to a few that were beyond that to ensure the safety of their consumers. However, they still received a fine for taking so long to respond to the safety issues. These safety issues are said to date back to 2001, and no action was taken until 2013. One of these recalls was over the faulty ignition switch. In June of 2014, General Motors Company was offering to pay at least $1 million to the 13 deaths related to the defective ignition switches from the cobalt and the iron, but was stopped because they were preparing for a lawsuit. Over 650 people filed a lawsuit in July of 2014, however lost because the cars were all from pre-bankruptcy, therefore would have to be filed against the old General Motors Company from before the bankruptcy. General Motors has been under pressure before and after the recession for varying things from money to recalls. Cleaning them up seems to be the objective as of yet. Where they will go from here seems to be a bit messy, yet ever delightful for the news media.